let's go back to that day, if you remember precisely, or about when that was, when you got news that there would be no more games for the rest of this spring. Did you learn that right away, or is it like a few games might not be played? How did that first come about, and just describe what it was for you and the coaching staff and all the student athletes on your team?
Yeah, I mean, that was something I obviously never forget, and it was a culmination of a few days I think that we all saw coming. And I remember having a couple meetings, but it all just at the end of that week when everything stopped happened really, really fast. And we'd had some conversations as a department, a little bit of what was happening, and you could follow Twitter and a lot of things going on. So you didn't know the season was get canceled. I think I really knew it was getting to that point when conferences started canceling their seasons. I think the Patriot League or Ivy League or one of those was the first ones that you saw on Twitter said, hey, we're canceling the rest of the spring sports. And that's when it really hit you. And I remember we had a staff meeting on Friday morning, I think it was, and we were talking through a lot of scenarios and things that were going on. We were actually supposed to play Florida Southern that weekend non-conference, and we were trying to decide if they should come up or not come up. And it all happened so fast that they got on the bus and headed up. We had a staff meeting. I think they were about 4 hours down the road. And after the staff meeting, the SEC started canceling their sports. I mean, it just started happening so fast to where I actually called Lance at Florida Southern on the bus and was like, man, I don't want you to drive all the way up here. I think this was a Thursday, actually. This was a Thursday. We were supposed to play Friday. And I was like, I don't see us playing tomorrow. I think by tomorrow, everything's going to be stopped. So I kind of got a feel it hadn't been shut down at that point completely yet. And our league hadn't done anything. Our school hadn't completely shut down, but I had a feeling. So he turned around about 4 hours down the road and went back home. Things really started to escalate. And we held a meeting with our team right after that out the field. I wanted to get him out there before things got out on Twitter. So we went out to the field and had a heart-to-heart. That was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had, probably the hardest day I've ever had with a team, because at that point everybody kind of knew, and I was very honest. Seniors asked, like, what are your thoughts? And I was up front and said, I don't think it looks good, guys. I mean, I would be shocked if we end up playing again, and no final decisions had been made, but you could kind of see that coming, and man, it was heartbreaking, a lot of tears, and things ramped up during that meeting to the point where it got to where we found out school was going to close and guys needed to be off campus if possible by Monday. And it all just happened so fast. And guys were having questions about, hey, what's next? And, I'm a senior. Am I going to get my year back? Am I not? Can I play? What's happened? What does this mean for me? What does this mean? I mean, there were just so many things going on that we had answers to. So it was a very difficult process to tread through. And I was just very honest and upfront, like I always am with our guys, and just told them, hey, when I get information, I'm going to pass it to you guys, and we're all in this together, and we'll work to get through this together. But uncharted waters. But that was a brutal day to sit down with the team who thought they were going to play a game halfway through their season, not even really halfway, but and tell them basically their season was probably over, and for some guys they'd never play again. There's no good way to tell a team that or guys that. Especially seniors. So heartbreaking day. I really struggled with it. I still struggle days with that for some of our guys.
Thinking back, that must have been March 12th, March 13th, right before that. Like that was when the NBA and NCAA tournament all got canceled. So like for someone like me, I'm hearing about these really big time, like national cancellations, but then like you and the players, you're really dealing with this emotionally directly. And some of those questions that you didn't have answered at that time is, of course, you're in the 10th season, your 10th season as head coach of Division II University of Montevallo. And do you have those answers now? Can any of the seniors come back? Is there any way that's going to happen for either your university or elsewhere? Have you heard?
We do. So the NCAA has granted everybody an extra year of eligibility. I'm very thankful to work at a university institution that has agreed to give their seniors their scholarships back if they'd like to come back. That's an institutional decision for each school. That's not something our school had to do. So Dr. Stewart, our administration down, made that decision, which is unbelievable. So it's made it's it's going to give some guys some opportunities, but I don't think what a lot of people understand. Everybody's excited to get the year back, but not all seniors are going to come back. I mean, I think right now we have 4 that aren't and 4 that are, and one that's still trying. And it's a hard decision. I mean, we had a couple of guys that are going to get married and are engaged, and a couple of guys had jobs lined up. So even though you get that year back, doesn't mean you're just going to come back. A bunch of them are graduating this May. So then you start getting into, if I come back, am I trying to get a master's degree, an MBA? We only have 2 or 3 post-grad opportunities for them. And then do I just take classes to take classes and try to get a second degree to play again and spend that money, extra money? Because we don't have guys on full scholarships, and they would still cost them a lot of money out of pocket to come back and do that. So it's very complicated. I mean, it sounds great. But there's a lot of decisions that go into that coming back. It was certainly the right thing to do. I was 100% behind that and wanted that for everybody to have that opportunity to come back. But we have some of those answers, but it still doesn't take away. I mean, for those guys that aren't coming back, it breaks my heart. Some of the things they missed out on with the rest of the season and the travel and hopefully the postseason tournaments and senior day is such, we got guys that have been here, and you look forward to that senior day and being with your family and taking those pictures and doing all those things that they're all going to miss out on, that they won't get back no matter what. And it kind of takes, hey, don't take for granted putting the jersey on again to a different level, because we played a game on Wednesday. And the next day we had this meeting on Thursday. I think it was the 12th. He says, you're supposed to play on Friday the 13th. And some of those guys never put a jersey on again and had no idea. Finished that game, went to sleep, got up the next day, and then it was all coming to an end for them. So we do have some of those answers, and I'm happy that seniors have that opportunity, but there's a lot of factors that go into that I don't think people realize.